Here we're going to divide polynomials algebraically, but now we have a placeholder. What that means is that when we look at our dividend, which is here, that there is a term that is missing, at least one term. It could be more, but what we have to look at is we look at our variables and we make sure that they all are there in descending order. So we have cubed, squared, but what we do not have is x to the first power. And we still have our x to the 0, which is our constant. So in order to make sure that we have everything there, we have to make sure it is included. So first off, we write our divisor, which is x plus 3. And then when we write our dividend, it's 2x cubed plus 4x squared. And then whatever term was missing, we say plus 0 times that term. So just the x was missing, so we're going to say plus 0x minus 5. We haven't actually added anything to the actual polynomial. What we basically have done is you've added 0. 0 times x is 0. So all we have done is just put a spot there. It's what we call a placeholder. It doesn't really change the polynomial. No, not doesn't really. It doesn't change the polynomial. It just changes maybe the way it looks. But it is necessary when we do have long division. So we say x times what gives us 2x cubed. And since we have a 1 out here, we say 1 times what gives us 2, and that answer should be 2. So we have 2. And we look at the x value. X, we have 1 of them here. We have 3 of them here. So how many are we missing? We're missing 2. So we have x squared. So we have 2x squared times our divisor, which is x plus 3. So we have 2x squared times x, which gives us a 2x cubed. And then we have 2x squared times 3, which gives us a positive 6x squared. If you recall from before, we want these terms to cancel out. So when we subtract them, we change the signs here. This does become 0, which means you're good. If it doesn't become 0, then you remember what that means is that 1, you either multiplied incorrectly, which means that this is incorrect, or you picked the wrong term to multiply by. So you have to go back to the drawing board. But here, we're good to go. We're going to keep moving. So next we say 4x squared minus 6x squared gives us a negative 2x squared. Bring the next term down. It's okay that it's plus 0x. Remember, that just means 0. Next, we focus on x, our leading terms here, and negative 2x squared. So we say there's a 1 here. 1 times what gives us negative 2, and that is negative 2. Then we look and say here's 1x. We need 2 of them, so we are missing 1. Next, we're going to say negative 2x times this binomial, x plus 3. So when we say negative 2x times x, this gives us negative 2x squared. Negative 2x times 3 gives us a negative 6x. And we're going to change the sign, so we're subtracting them. This becomes 0, exactly what we wanted. And now we have 0x plus 6x, which gives us a positive 6x. Bring down our negative 5. So we go back and say our leading terms here, x and 6x. Here's a 1. 1 times what gives us 6, and that answer is 6. We have the same amount of x's here. There's 1 here. There's 1 here. No need to multiply by an x. Next, we go ahead and multiply. So 6 times x is 6x. And then 6 times 3 is a positive 18. When you subtract, we change the signs. This gives us 0, makes us happy. Negative 5 minus 18 gives us a negative 23. So we do have a remainder. What this tells us again is that x plus 3, our divisor, is not a factor of our dividend. So our divisor, x plus 3, is not a factor of our dividend. 2x cubed plus 4x squared plus, or sorry, it'd be just minus 5. So when we write our multiplication statement, if it does ask us to, oh, sorry, before we write our multiplication statement, I have to finalize my quotient, my answer. And we do have to write, so we write plus, and then our remainder, which is negative 23, over our divisor of x plus 3. Okay. Now we write our multiplication statement. Remember, it's just the divisor times the quotient. So our divisor times our quotient equals our dividend. So our multiplication statement will look something like this: x plus 3 times 2x squared minus 2x plus 6 plus a negative 23 over x plus 3 equal to 2x cubed plus 4x squared. You do not need to write this in the multiplication statement if you use a placeholder. You just go back to your original that you had here, which is now minus 5. This is one way of writing it. Another way of writing it, because you have a remainder, you can write the remainder on the outside of the quotient. So it looks something like this. So we have x plus 3, that doesn't change. 2x squared minus 2x plus 6. We close the parenthesis, and then we just write minus 23 because that was our remainder. Equal to 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5. One of these two are sufficient. They are equivalent to each other.